people from all over the world to come and join our stream. I will be very happy if you tell me where you're from, what you do, why you're here, and any other information. Just use the chat. We're happy to receive your comments. And I will put a comment right there. Hello, where are you from? It's always fascinating to see where people are from and why you're tuning in, where you're coming from, uh, tuning into our show tonight. I'm sure we have Xuanzin. Hello, welcome to our show. We have many people from many parts of the world coming in typically to our shows. There's over 20 of you already on board. I welcome each and every one of you. Welcome to my home. This is my home office. Since we've been working from home all this while, I have been setting up my home office. So this is what it looks like, kind of here. Yes, we see Xuanzin coming from the LinkedIn notification. Yeah, and we have Siti Masrin. Apa khabar, Siti? Same here from LinkedIn. Well, where are you geographically? That's what I want to know. We have Zaki. Apa khabar, Zaki? Hello. So welcome one and all. My clock says it is exactly 9 p.m. So welcome from wherever you are in the world or in the LinkedIn universe. Many of you all of you are from the LinkedIn universe. This show is also streamed live on YouTube. Just look for the Redbeard Media International channel. You will find all of our shows there. So we have many different people. We have Izzat Riza following my videos. Thank you so much for your support. We do have Farid Ismail. Apa khabar, Farid? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We have Siti Penang Mali. Wah, lama dah tak pergi Penang. I think it's been over a year since MCO lah kan. Kita tak boleh rentas negeri. Macam mana nak pergi Penang? Apa khabar Penang? We have Anita. Apa khabar Anita? Always on my shows. Glad to join you. Nice. I'm sure you're going to be... Thanks. Malaysia. We have Rushdina. Apa khabar Rushdina? From KL. K to the L. So there's many people from many parts of the world. So welcome to the show. It's called Culturism. And it is about corporate culture, but because it's about corporate culture, we talk about all sorts of things. We talk about life, we talk about love, we talk about everything that touches the human condition, because you know what? Corporate culture is a result of the human beings who work in a particular company. And because of that, what makes us human is what makes the corporate culture human as well. So we are talking about many different things. We have Viv. Apa khabar, Viv? Welcome. Thanks for coming and thanks for dropping by to our show. We have Ruzaika. We have macam-macam orang. Oh, Ruzaika first timer. So first timer kena tanya macam-macam soalan. We get to ask lots of different questions. We try and keep it in English because we have an audience from all over the world typically. Farah enjoys the slide. Please do come to the Celcom HQ. It is kind of off limits to visitors at the moment. So once the doors open again, we welcome you to come visit Celcom. So we are going to invite on board Siti Suryati, the Chief Human Resources Officer of Hrdf, the Human Resources Development Fund of Malaysia. And I'm sure many people are excited to ask questions and to interact with her. So without further ado, let us welcome one and all Sue. Apa khabar, Sue? How are you? Welcome to the show.
Alhamdulillah, syukur. Assalamualaikum. Thank you for inviting me, Azif.
Walaikum salam warahmatullah. It's my honor to have you here, and all of us excited to see you. We have quite a number of people on board already, so we can see, we can interact with them on LinkedIn. Unfortunately, on this particular platform we're using, Restream.io, we can't respond to their chats over here on this system. So if you want to respond to them, you have to open up your LinkedIn on your phone and kind of reply to them there. But the show is so that we can interact with as many people as possible. So if there's questions, I'll put it up on the screen just like I'm doing now. We can put up people's comments like this and we can respond to it. So before we begin, Sue,
Yep.
people can know about you. They know you're the Chief Human Resources Officer. They know you work at HRDF from your LinkedIn apa ni, profile. So,
Yeah.
but in our show, that's not good enough for us. In the start of the show, and you don't know about this, we didn't really brief you, and you don't know the questions. We play a particular game called 10 questions. And this is a rapid fire questions to kind of get to know you better, to know who Sue really is. So since you've not prepared, I've also not prepared. So I'm just going to ask you these 10 questions rapidly.
Yeah.
So you
I
can
mean, your
just
audience
answer
need to
very
know.
quickly.
Yeah, your audience need to know that none of what sort of questions were given to us on the
No,
show.
no,
Yeah.
no. It's all very, very impromptu. So let me ask your first question. Okay, Sue,
Sure.
if you were not working in HR, if you're not working in this field, what would you be doing?
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't start it as a human resource. So I started my first job was in a call center, and then I went through a as a hospitality as a in MAS. So I
Uh,
was in MAS almost about 3 years. So I was been dealing with a lot of as VIPs because I was from Golden Lounge officer. So I think that if I weren't in this human resource line, I will also be dealing with people. So it's actually basically also people, but another kind of interaction of people. Yeah. So that's
right.
it. Yeah.
Excellent. So, if since you were in hospitality, uh, right now skies are kind of closed, we can't travel. If you could go to any country tomorrow, tonight, pack your bags tonight, catch a plane, and go to any country for a week-long vacation, where would you go?
Well, I've been meaning to go to Turkey actually.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was thinking of doing like the Umrah Ziarah. So have my Umrah first, and go to Turkey after that. I've been meaning to bring my parents along with this journey of mine. So I was supposed to go for my Umrah last year, but because of this COVID, and then it just happens that way. But I've been really meaning to go to Turkey. I don't know why. Yeah.
Wow, wow. I have been a couple of times and it's an amazing place. It's so spiritual, so unique, the cross between Europe and Asia and all of that. So it's an amazing
Yep.
place. You should go. We should go.
One
All
day
right.
when the sky
uh,
starts open. Yeah.
exactly when the skies
Yeah.
open up again. So, welcome again. Shout out to everyone. Anita says it's going to be fun. It is going to be fun, Anita. So, if you have any questions for Sue, you can put it in the chat as well. So, my next question to you, Sue, is um, do you play any musical instruments?
Oh, I'm bad in that. I'm totally bad in that. I can only sing in the toilet or in some karaoke, but instruments, I'm really bad in that. Yeah.
All
So
right. So, if you could play any instrument, what instrument would it be?
piano, but I don't really have that long fingers, so I think that I will also screw that up. Yeah.
All right. One day we'll get you playing the
Yeah.
piano, maybe. Um, okay. This is another interesting question. If you were a dessert,
Okay.
what dessert would you be?
Cheesecake. Yeah. I
Wow.
love cheesecake. Yeah.
Yummy. Cheesecake is delicious
Truffle
stuff.
on top of cheesecake. Have you tried that? That's nice, actually.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's like
That's
double
lovely.
sinful.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's have that one day as well. When the skies open up. I really have not been meeting many people. I've been going to work once in a while, but socially, I've not been out at all. I haven't been out with my friends, sometimes with just my wife and my son, but not with anyone else really. So yeah, let's really hope that with the injections and all of this, with the
The
vaccines,
vaccines. Yeah.
things will get better and we can start meeting
Inshallah.
people again, inshallah. This is one question I ask all of my guests, and it's about kindness, because I do list that one of the things that I'm about is about advocating kindness in the world. I think there's not enough kindness in the world. But we always ask, who's the kindest person you have ever met, and tell us a story about him or her.
Okay. I mean, a part of being this, about this COVID and pandemic, Ustad Abid Liu was now kind of viral, but I actually met him way back before. I think it was like 10 years ago. In one of I was with Nestle before as well, so we did some spiritual program, and he was one of the speakers. So at that point of time, he is already one of the person that I've met as being really kind actually. But as year goes by and his reputation gets by, and he has a lot of other what do you call that, sponsor or the others coming in, so he does more of this philanthropy work really well. And I think that he has I really admire his courage in going in doing what he's doing lah. But just to let you know that he's just not doing this now or getting some fame because of this pandemic or things like that. He has been doing this all the while. Back then, even when I knew him, who he was 10 years ago, I think. Yeah.
Yep. So that's an amazing person right there. I've written
Yeah.
about him as well because
Yeah.
he really is an inspiration to so many people,
Correct.
and it's something really to see in practice. People putting into action, things that many of us just talk about, and something we aspire to. So that's an excellent person to talk about, Ustaz Ibn. So, Sue, let's get on with the show. We
Sure.
have Hamad Siddiqui all the way from Toronto. Assalamu alaikum, Brother
Hello.
Hamad. So some of us in the audience don't really know what HRDF is. What is a fund? It's a company. It's a government agency. I don't know. So could you kind of enlighten us a little bit about what HRDF is and what it does?
Okay, HRDF is a government agency under the Ministry of Human Resource. And the ministry is Datuk Sri Saravanan. So we do the collect levy from the employers, and also some grants from the government to build up the nations in learning and development. So our first priority is actually the employers. So because they pay levy, and we ensure that they have the right what do you call that, the trainings from the training TP training provider, who's giving them the sorts of training that is needed for the employers, for the employees of the employees who've been paying them levy. So if you were to notice that actually last time you only cover certain industries, which is mining, manufacturing, and the other one. But right now, since 1st March, we have already expanded our act, HRDF expansion of act, and now we're covering the entire industry, including banking, whatsoever. So as long as you have 10 employees and in your company, you will be beneficial to enroll in this HRDF levy, and you will be getting the benefit of using that levy for the training of your employees. So I think this is something that is due for so long, that the take place of the expansion of act actually have started way back in 2016, but due to some, because we need to go through the industries, we need to speak to certain people and things like that, and to the ministers, to the government body and things like that. So Alhamdulillah, we did manage to get that up and running. So now it's the expansion of act is actually to everyone. So that's a
Excellent.
good thing. It's a great thing for that. Yeah.
Right. So in short, like a company like ours, Celcom, we pay a levy, and HRDF collects that funds, and then when we need to send anyone for training, if it's HRDF certified, we can just take from that pool of funds, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Correct.
excellent.
Yeah.
So basically, we
Can
don't
just take
put out any other money, right? We've already
Yes.
put the money
No.
in the fund, and we can just
Correct.
take it out to train our people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Correct.
find it, because I am in HR as well. I'm not in charge of learning and development, but it does make a huge difference when something is HRDF, certified, and we can just quickly send people and just draw down on those funds. It makes life so much easier for us. So yeah, thanks for doing all that work. So how many people are actually in this organization in HRDF?
Well, we have roughly about 400 employees, but we're expanding due because we have a lot of things in the pipeline. There's a lot of things that we're putting in for building up the nation. Yeah, let's
Right.
say now if you see Ilate, it's a free online learning platform which we have roughly about 300 plus free
Wow.
courses right now. For 12 months, we're giving it to the nation, due to the pandemic and things. So we are encouraging the individuals, not employees, whoever it is. Yeah, it can be graduates, it can be school leavers, whatever. Yeah, to go through Ilate and use this platform to benefit and learn more because we collaborate with Go One, and those courses in Ilate is actually very good courses in there. So please go and try this Ilate. There's a lot of things. It's just not on HR. It's about everything, about project management, about everything. Yeah,
Wow.
there's a lot of things. Yeah, and you get the
So
certificate actually when you finish the courses. Yeah.
right. So this is just another platform for people to build up their own capabilities and their own skills, so that they are can become better employees, or they can better employment opportunities as well for them, and advancement for them. So that's an amazing opportunity for anyone listening in. Please check out Ilate and see what kind of courses you can take there, and get your certificates of completion from there as well. So HRDF currently has, I guess, many companies contributing their levies into the fund. Is it mandatory for companies, or is it something that is optional?
It is mandatory, yeah. So it is mandatory, and we're looking into that. Of like we based from the announcement that we did for the expansion of Act, we do give some leeway. Let's say 3 months cooling off period, so that people are aware things like that. So starting in June, we'll start to actually ensure that the employers, the others, will start to pay the levy from the expansion of Act. Yeah.
Right. So I'm sure you have to deal with many different types of companies and organizations and training providers and the public as well at HRDF. So how is HRDF itself organized? What kind of departments do you have, or where's the bulk of your workforce in HRDF?
Well, we have a customer outreach. Yeah, so we have divisions, for big divisions, which is the corporate HQ, and then we have the CCO areas, and then we have the training, the programs itself, and then we have strategy. So those are the divisions that look into who do we interact for the like the customers. CCO is the area which goes and communicate with the employers on for the enforcement and other things, for informing all the informations, getting out the informations to the employers, what are the things that they need to do, what are the information that they should be getting. And then we have our programs teams, which is looking into working with the training provider, as well as the content, the curricula of the training, and all those things in there. So obviously the corporate HQ is the backbone for everything to ensure that we run smoothly, and we get the objective to ensure that the other management or the other team or division is actually providing those sort of services to to the training provider, as well as the employers, and also
Right.
for the from the government grants, yes, for the
Right.
nations as well. Yeah.
So we have Anne Harun. I mean, her name's not kind of appearing here on this platform, but she's saying, so it's a collective pool of funds, kind of a trust fund for training provided back to the company. And it's, yeah, pretty
Yep.
much correct, your understanding there, Noor Harun. Farah is saying, while she was handling the Malaysian branch of her company, always picked up HRDF refund based on approval amount. I wonder what is the criteria for a refund, but I never asked further. So, is there criteria to get the refund?
Um, well, I need to check. What do you? I
Yeah,
mean, I need
what do
to
you mean by the refund?
understand.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't. I can't answer based on fragment information given. I'm afraid that I will be giving you the wrong information. So I think I will need to really understand what
yeah.
is the one that you're mentioning. Then I could answer you better.
Yeah, thanks for the question anyway. So if you have any other questions, as always, please put it in the chat and we will address it if we can. In the meantime, maybe I'll ask this, Sue. Since you are the chief human resources officer of the fund, the fund is obviously part of HR for the entire nation. So, what kind
Yeah.
of challenges do you face in your organization, in HRDF itself, managing that 400 odd people who are employees of HRDF? What's your main challenge?
Okay. The main challenge for me, we are advocating the employers or outside. Yeah, so we're advocating that get your employees upskilled, up to date, get them trained, ensure that they have all the skills that needed. But I think we also need to do the same. We need to walk the talk, right?
Of
So we
course,
need
yeah.
to ensure that our own people inside does the same as well. So I think that's my challenge to ensure that we ensure that our people have the right competency, the right development, the right succession planning, and those kind of things in line to ensure that we keep the ball rolling and ensure that we walk the talk and we do the same. Then we will be proud of telling the others that that's I think that's basically the challenge that I'm seeing, because we are HR itself. So it's a
Yeah,
bit spotlight of the day. Yeah.
it is. It is. So
Yeah.
exactly like you said, you have to walk the talk because I think that's very critical for people to see that what you're advocating, you're really doing yourself. So you know what? I think we have a co-host who has agreed to come on air and ask you a few questions, maybe have a different perspective than me. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to welcome a good friend of mine, Lisa Rezwan Lisa Reds. She's a vice
Hi.
president at
Hi, Lisa.
OUB, a major bank in Malaysia. And she said she would love to come on air and ask Sue a couple of questions for all of us. So, hi, Lisa, how are you?
I'm good, Alhamdulillah. How are you both doing today?
I'm doing great.
Fine, I'm
Thank
good.
you. So, before you ask your first question, maybe you'll tell our audience what you do at UOB.
So basically, I'm the vice president for alternate sales channel. So what sales lah? So that's what
Why
I
is it
do.
called? Why
Yes.
is it called alternate sales? Is it like the alternative band music? What's going on there?
It's a special program that I do for corporate employees.
Right, right. I'm see you. You're dressed in your Wonder Woman shirt. Thanks for carrying that theme.
I don't even have time to even change, I'm from office.
Same as me. I'm from office as well. So go ahead, Lisa. What's your first question?
Okay, I'm not going to ask any HR related questions lah kan sebab Azif dah tanya.
Okay,
So,
sure.
looking at you, the position that you hold right now in a big organization, I truly respect you.
Thank you.
And okay, so my first question would be, what is your why?
What is my why? Okay.
Yes.
What is my why is because I always challenge myself, actually. I whenever I hear negative things about people telling about something, I find it challenging. I try to turn that into positive. I try to prove them wrong, actually, or I try to prove myself wrong. That's why I think that's my why. I'm not afraid of failure, but I'm afraid that I didn't take that challenge. So I'm fine to take the challenge. If I fail, it's okay. as long as I've tried, But if I didn't try and I didn't even take the opportunity to challenge myself, that's my why. So I think that is for me personally. Yeah, Alisa, I hope I'm answering you.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
So, do I go ahead with my next question, Azil?
Please go ahead.
So, I mean, in corporate world, right? Be it in public sector, MNC, GLC, uh, as we know, the leadership are men, right? And
Okay.
how when you're in a meeting in a corporate conference, how do you stand out as a female leader? How do you
Well,
make yourself
basically,
heard?
okay, how do I make myself heard? Number one is you need to know what you're doing. You need to have the right facts. You need to have the right information. And that's the only way that you'll be able to answer question correctly and get the respect out of it. So you need to be really good in what you do so that people will actually see, that I'm able to do based on my experience and my knowledge, not of who I am or personally or my age or whatever. Usually people will look at me, it's like, oh, this ketot girl, and she's so young, but I don't think she can do it. But actually, whenever they work with me, they will be able to see that, oh, okay, she knows what she's doing. So I think the knowledge and the experience that comes with it is actually very much important. So you don't have to compete with men, if you ask me. Okay, I don't need to compete with whoever it is. It can be whatever gender it is. But the only thing is, to me, you really need to be good in what you do, so that that the respects and the others will come forward. That's I think that's simple for me. Yeah.
Awesome.
I hope I'm answering
So,
this.
yeah,
Quite
you
great.
are. You are. It's inspiring. I learned a lot
Yeah.
just within these two questions. So, the next one will be, how do you reach your level at a young age?
Okay. For me, like I said, I really took the challenge. So whenever I'm given the opportunity, I'm afraid actually to take up the opportunity. But like I said, if I do not try, I don't know. I do not know if I'm able to do it or not. So like I said earlier, I'm not afraid of failing. So it's okay if I tried my best and fail. But if I don't even take the opportunity and I didn't even try my level best to prove that I'm able to do so, then that's, I'm just flushing out that opportunity out of the door, right? So that courage also comes with some networks of friends that you have, and also some mentors that sometimes you think, can I do it, can I not do it, maybe yes, maybe not. But sometimes when you speak with people who works around you, who are there with you, could actually could actually say it better, or could actually um, verify if you would be able to do it or not. Yeah. But hearing the verification, verifying with the other mentors, that works, friends, is actually encouraging words and positive words, which have put forward for me to take up the challenge. Yeah. So, but you need to have the right person in the group, or the right people in your network that
Correct.
also positive and supportive in that sense. But also you need to listen to the comments of whatever it is. It can be good and bad. So the criticism can be very hurtful as well, but that as to improve yourself. So those are my networks that I really work well with, and I really respect their comments and their criticism, positive criticism, negative, whatever it is. So because it only you cannot verify yourself. You tak boleh cakap you baik kan, or you cannot say that I'm jahat or I baik. So usually we act, and people will know what sort of person you are, right?
So I mean, so from what I understand, right, from whatever that you said just now, making mistakes is okay provided that we learn and act upon it.
Yes, very much. So making mistake is fine. We're all human, right? We're not angels. We're human. We do make mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes along the way, right? As well. But don't make the same mistakes twice. Learn from that mistakes, right? So ensure that you learn from it. So get better in the way how you do. So to me is the as I grow, as I gain my experience, the critical thinking is very much important. I find that critical thinking and thinking, ahead and 360 degrees of things, it helps in making decision. It helps in making doing your slides or representation and things like that, because you anticipate what are the things that coming, right?
Correct.
So you try to anticipate what are the things that going to be asked. You try to anticipate. You don't know, but if you were to put in their shoes, what are you going to do? So those are the things that I think the critical thinking set of skills is actually very much
Very
important.
important.
Yes, yeah.
Right. See
And
what
also,
happens
okay,
when you put see what happens when you put two powerful women together. I'm just out of here. I can just go make some coffee and
Sorry,
I'm
sorry.
just
give
sorry I stole your show.
Lisa stealing my show.
So,
But anyway, no problem at all. I love having you here. So, but let's just go. I'll just keep you on, Lisa. Don't worry, you're going to be here till the end. I'm just going to go to the comment section. I had Zaid here. She asked the question in my post on LinkedIn. She said, how do you bridge the gap between the supply of graduates and actual demand by industries? Is this something that HRDF looks into, Sue?
We look into that as well, but as you know, the supply is too much rather than the demand, right? So some of the demands comes with, we need kind of experience because we do not have the time to teach and this kind of thing. But it's good that there are some platforms that giving chance to these graduates, like proteges, apprentices, and those kind of things are a very good platform to give these fresh graduates or the surplus of demand, supplies that we have, to give them a chance in this kind of programs. Then they will come out with sort of experience that the actual market is actually looking, because at least in the CV they have been working with, let's say, UMW or HRDF. They have been doing as an apprentice for 6 to 12 months, or at least a 2 year, and then those experience will actually bring them the the credit into the CVs when they actually go for a permanent or a better role, when they sort of going for interviews. Yeah, I find
Right.
that it's very useful for these graduates. So don't be choosy. I know you, and you're being proteges, apprentice and all those things. You don't really gain so much, but the experience is actually much more important. Yeah.
Right, great. Let's go back to what something that Lisa was saying as a woman, and how you are overcoming kind of the obstacles that you're facing. I do want to promote an event that we're having tomorrow. Actually, tomorrow is the 24th of March at 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. The 30% Club of Malaysia, where I volunteer, are having our virtual event for International Women's Day. It's called Men Who Pause, so it's kind of a
No.
play on words, but the Men Who Pause. We have a panel of all males who are going to discuss this topic with a female moderator, and we have already over 780 people registered for the event. We do have a limit of 1,000, so if you have not registered for it, please do quickly. Just look for the event on my profile, or search for 30% Club Malaysia event, and you'll find it. It's called an International Women's Day virtual event. Choose to challenge, and I would urge every one of you to go there. So I'm quite been immersed in this this topic for the past month, since 8th of March was International Women's Day, and I did moderate a session in Celcom on that topic. So if we want to stay there, I mean, you did say that regardless of gender, if you do your best, you can do that. However, there are some challenges that women face, that are part of either conscious or unconscious bias against women, against young women especially. So have you personally faced any sort of those kind of challenges, Sue, in your career while you're trying to advance in your career ladder?
Yeah, I do have that kind of challenges. In there are some organization who is very, um, very dominantly at top with men, but I don't find that I know they can do that. So, but it will not progress much, right? So that having a good um, balance is actually, you can see a different point of view. So personally, I don't really have that kind of gender, but actually looking into the age more of looking down at the age, and also looking at the qualification. Yeah, sometimes you say like, oh, because that person is not a PhD or masters, so that person is not able to do so, things like that. So because I started very young, working. I started having finished my diploma at 21. So I didn't even graduate my degree, my bachelor's degree. So along the way, I did my degree part time. So as I earned my own income, I paid everything, my education and bachelor's degree on my own on my own, from my salary, on my pocket. So that is what I feel. So people really look down on the age, and also the qualification that I was at that point of time. And I find it very hard for me to prove, because while I was studying and while I was climbing up the ladder, I have a lot of those are the challenge that I was saying, that those negativity that I was hearing, that I tried to convert it and I took it positively and tried to prove them wrong. So yeah, for me personally, that is what I had challenged to prove that I'm better off than what you think I am. So, and also trying to prove myself that I'm better off in what they think I can do. Yeah, because I didn't really end up choosing HR from start. I don't really know what I wanted to do. I finished graduation. Oh my god, I don't even know what I want to do. So I
Mhm.
figured it out while I was working, and I had that passion in me while I was working. Yeah.
Wow. Great. I'm sure Lisa has some thoughts on this subject as well. What about you, Lisa? What kind of challenges have you faced in your
Uh,
building up your own career?
I think because like me, I well studied in UiTM. I mean, just to share with everyone, but I didn't graduate, right? So, but I had experience when I was 17 years old. I started off like you as a customer service officer. So that's where I learned about communication and how to speak on the phone, how to liaise with difficult people, right? And and after that, because the hardship to get to climb the corporate ladder, I told myself I'm going to do this and I'm going to do whatever it takes to be at the top, being it having a certificate or not. So yeah, so alhamdulillah, I managed to do, and I can do better even, because to me, it's I always tell people, if it's to be, it's up to me. So if you want it, you can go all out. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Thanks so much for sharing. I mean, it's so courageous for both of you to be sharing, such personal stories from your own lives. I think, but you know what? Why we're doing this is what Farah Ain is saying here. She says we can learn so many things from just the three questions from Lisa. We need to be good at everything we do. We never know if we don't try, and how to give fact and correct answers. So, what our audience appreciates is all of these stories that you're telling, because this is what connects people, right? They say, oh, I'm
Yeah.
facing the same kind of issues. I'm facing the same kind of problems. I also, have problems with my studies, and all of these sort of things really, really helps many people out there. If you're not even watching live, you're watching a recording of this as well, it will really certainly benefit people. So thanks so much, Lisa and Sue, for sharing a part of you.
No
And that would really,
worries.
really help people as well. So,
My pleasure.
staying on this topic, Lisa and Sue. So now I have two guests now, Sue and Lisa. In Malaysia, there's again so many types of different challenges, right? We have the political issues going on, we have businesses doing well, not so well. Now with this pandemic still upon us, we're still not recovered from it. People are starting to go back to work, businesses are starting to open, but it's still not there. What are the challenges that you see, Sue, first of all, in this HR industry, in this training industry, being faced now because of the pandemic?
Well, because of pandemic, where obviously the unemployment rate skyrocket, right? So we are trying our best in HRDF itself to, with Panjana, with all these things in place from the government grant and all these things, we're trying our best to reduce the unemployment rate by one is to ensure that they have the right skills, to take over, while this is happening, they ensure that they are always at par in their skills and things like that. So, HRDF is there to help them in that area. And then there's also where we find placement center for them. We work with some organizations, like Maiden and all those things to get this while, after they had gone through some certain of training and development, and then they'll be placed at this sort of organization for at least 12 months or things like that. So that's why we have with this Ilate and all these things coming on board. So the HRDF itself is actually looking into a lot of initiative. Even this year, it's a lot in the pipeline to build up the nation. Yeah. So we're looking at the holistic view of not just the fresh graduates, but also all sorts of all sorts of ecosystem as a whole. People from the elderly, the OKU, and all these things. So there are many things that we looking into building up the nations um, for from HRDS HRDF point. Yeah.
Right. And Lisa, I know you're in sales and with a bank. What kind of issues are you facing in your own personal career because of the pandemic?
So sales, right? Everybody knows when bila kita buat sales ni, it's like we meet customers not online, okay? We meet customers physically. You convince people physically. We're not telemarketers. We do sales, like direct sales or account management, right? So when the pandemic happened, I was like, oh my god, macam mana nak buat ni? How do you do it virtually? How do you convince people virtually? Yes, I can do it over the phone, but to close a deal, usually they would like to meet you. So yeah, that was the biggest challenge that me and my team faced. But we discussed and we talk about it. So, okay, look, we can't sit on this problem. We need to figure out on how to do things better. So that's when we started a lot of virtual presentations. And me personally, what I did was I compiled all the CEOs in Malaysia's email, like cari korek saja, and just email them and ask them, can I set an appointment with you? Can I see you virtually? Coffee over virtual presentation, right? So Alhamdulillah, the response was great. Actually, they do entertain us virtually, and yes, that's how that's how I got sales in.
Wow. So yeah, I think everybody needs to adapt. Everybody needs to pivot and change and acquire new skills. So even if you're not used to doing online marketing, you just have to learn. And I was telling Sue that both Lisa and I are part of a group called Growth Academy, where we learn how to do better online, how to do better, especially on LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn is such an amazing opportunity.
Platform, yeah.
I was telling Sue that she's, I think, the 13th guest on this show. And we've had people from 8 different countries come on this show. And I think you're only the third Malaysian, so the rest have been
Oh,
all
okay.
international,
Okay,
and we've
I'm
been
honored. I'm flattered.
we've been very, very international on this show because the platform allows us to go all over the world. So this takes me to this great question by Zaid again. Maybe this is for Sue. What do you think are the five most important skills that we must have I guess, in today's workforce?
Mm, okay, the first number one for me is critical thinking, like I mentioned. I always feel that critical thinking is actually very much important. I always apply that in my day to day. Yeah. Number two is integrity. You know, especially being in HR, integrity is it's you don't even need to say it. Yeah, it comes with it, right? So it doesn't matter in what areas you are. Um, HR, be it non HR, integrity is also the second. Yeah. So third, I think we need to be ensure that you know your work clearly. You're good in what you do. So if you're in HR, so you're good in HR. You know all the acts. You know what is can be done and cannot be done. You know, if you're a lawyer, then you need to know your acts well as well. So you're really good in what you do. Um, you must know your facts. You know, you cannot just, you know, sometimes you goreng kalau hangit, then that's gone, so you lose your respect just like that, right? So fourth is, I think, mm, as a leader, empathy is also important. Yeah.
Right.
So we are dealing with people. So with this kind of pandemic and things like that, you know, empathy is just it's very much important as a leader, I would say. Yeah. So fifth is um, so just now was knowledge. So what you do, and fifth, it I think is the personality or leadership um, behavior or leadership skills that you use or you do in managing your you know, day-to-day team. This is not your team or work, it's also, you know, your, because it carries, it inherits in your life, right? You can't be, you cannot be hypocrite, right? You're at home like that, but in office you're differently. So I think that's also very much important. So you have to stay true to yourself. Yeah. So you need to, yeah. So I think if
Yeah,
you
those
play hypocrisy, you know, it'll just show up, it will just show your true color very instantly. Yeah. You can, yeah. So
exactly.
I think that is my personal you know, elements that I would say lah.
Right, excellent. I really echo and resonate with what you're saying about authenticity, right? That's being
Yeah.
true to yourself, being true to you. I mean, that's one of my key messages. Everything that I post on LinkedIn is about being true to yourself. And I think that's so, so important. It's excellent 5 points that you've raised there, Sue. I think that's something that all of us can take from this session and learn from that, and, you know, trying to improve these areas in ourselves. So thanks to all of the people in the chat that's been kind of summarizing everything that we're saying. It makes it easy for the people the recording, everything's there already. I'd like to say hi and shout out to a friend of mine, Farid here. Tuan Farid here has several different programs that he runs. One is actually called the Zakat Clinic. So he teaches people how to better use Zakat. So he was asking previously up there in the chat about how would he get a program like this, something that you could call a social cultural program. How can that be listed in HRDF, and how can he offer this sort of training for companies nationwide? What's the
Well,
process like?
first, you can approach our programs. Programs, I think it's headed by one of my colleagues, Mr. Roni. So he's heading the programs area. So he and his team will actually look into those sorts of curricula that I was mentioning, the programs that you're putting on forth. So if you have something, you can usually you know, you can always go to them, and then you can you know, that's the first step. Approach them, the right person to approach, which is them, their team, and then from there on, they will actually advise you what is the next step. That, yeah.
There you go, Tuan Farid. So look for the programs team in HRDF, they'll be able to advise on how to get your program into their list. I have a great question from Wen Jay here, and it's about what this show is about. It's about corporate culture. So about toxic work culture in particular. So before we go to Yusu, maybe I'll ask Lisa, what kind of experience have you had with this sort of toxic work culture? You don't have to mention names lah, huh? You can just generally talk about what you've experienced.
I mean, a toxic work culture, right? Is well, I don't agree with having toxic environment or toxic people around me. So, to me, I mean, if people, right, they see someone that can go very far as a leader. I mean, as for instance, you're a leader and you can see your colleagues or your staff can do a lot better in the working in her career or in his career. You need to learn to help them to grow better. They can be better than you, but you need to support them, right? Not just by shoving them down and pushing them to other departments. So I mean, those are the kind of toxic culture that well, I probably personally experienced. So yes.
All right. Thanks, Lisa. So yeah, so as the Chief Human Resource Officer, Sue, what would you look out for before things become critical? What kind of signs do you get that this is unhealthy, this is a toxic culture that's brewing in this organization?
Well, to me, if it's, toxic culture usually comes from ambiguity. Yeah. So because when there's ambiguity, you make assumption here, assumption there, assumption blah blah blah, and it becomes a very gossip here and there. Kind of. So for me, I think communication is number one. Yeah. So if you have something that you need to do or you need to inform, so communication is the key, is always the key, because you want to shut the ambiguity. Yeah. So when the communication is there, constant communication, information is delivered, so we shut the ambiguity and we try to reduce the toxic level. We will have negativity in any organization. Yeah. So we are dealing with people here. Be true to ourselves, right? But we just need to reduce the level of that noise and then reduce ambiguity, get the information out, try to communicate. If people are having those are the people that you identify to having this toxic thoughts or toxic, you speak to these people. Yeah. So bring them, speak to them. Sometimes it's because there's something underlying between that. It could be very personal, or it could be people, it could be processes, it could be a lot of things. So understand what is the underlying issues, and communication is also the key. So to me, you will have negativity, you will have resistance, you will have, especially during transformation and change and all these things. But like I said, the communication and also reducing the ambiguity and assumptions are very much important.
Excellent. So that takes us to this segment where I ask all of our guests, what is corporate culture to you? How would Sue define corporate culture?
I think corporate culture is also what you believe, the values that you are encouraging or you mentioning. Usually all corporates have their values that they're trying to enforce to their organization. So for me, is the belief of that values and how you behave in that values is very much important. So if you believe but you behave differently, it's also it's yeah, it just doesn't jive. So behavior is the key, and believing in those values that you are enforcing or you're trying to create in that organization is very much important. So yes, if I think that's from me personally.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And as we wind down, it's already been 52 minutes. We're on air, and time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun tonight. Maybe I'd go around the table, starting with Lisa. Perhaps you can, in a minute, kind of recap what we've been talking about. What are your key takeaways, and what would you want the audience to take away from our conversation tonight?
Well, for me, definitely it's about women empowerment. So watch out.
That's right. That's a key message that we were talking about, women empowerment. So how about you, Sue? What was your key takeaway, and what would you want our audience to bring back from our discussion tonight?
Well, to me, don't be afraid to fail. Yeah. So take up the challenge. If there's an open opportunity given to you, take up that challenge, but don't take that into waste, right? So don't take that opportunity to waste. Try to prove to yourself that you are able to do so as well. Try to prove to the people that given you the opportunity, who trusted you with that opportunity. So if you tried your best and you failed, fine, it's okay. You can always take that as an experience to learn and become much a better person, and you move forward. But if you don't try to take that, that opportunity and challenge and push yourself, you can start from below. I'm not just saying this, at certain level. No, it's at every level. You can be from associate, you can be at VP, whatever level you are. Be When you're an associate, you try to be like a manager. Take that, never volunteer. It's fine. You're doing for free. It's fine. The experience that you can never, pay, that will give you the advantages when you start to grow, will give you the extra edge and advantage for you to be there where you are. So I think
Wow.
that's for me. Yeah.
What a great message. Ladies and gentlemen, you see Lisa and also Sue have been on this show sharing their own stories. And Sue is saying whatever opportunities that are in front of you, don't be afraid to grab it. The worst thing that can happen is you fail. So what's the big deal about that? And you need
What's the
to
big
fail in
deal?
order
Yeah.
to get successful. So Sue has been so successful in her young age and able to already hold a C-level position. There is that glass ceiling, and our work in the 30% Club is really to put more women in the C-suite, more women in the boardrooms of public listed companies. So that's our effort. Women like Lisa, who has 5 children and building a career and looks gorgeous and can still, deliver what she needs to deliver. I mean, these are amazing ladies. Sue at such a young age, rocking the C-suite of such an important organization, a national level organization. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would really love to thank our guests, Sue as well as Lisa, both for coming on air tonight. Before I end, I do have to beberapa iklan I have to advertise. I'm on live again at the same time tomorrow. We have Kim Araman all the way from UAE. She speaks French, she speaks Arabic, she speaks English, obviously, and she does have her own consultancy, the Kim Araman Consultancy, and she helps her clients land jobs. So if you're interested in any of this, please do tune in at the same time tomorrow, 9 p.m. I'll be live with Kim. Also, don't forget to register for the 30% Club Malaysia virtual event tomorrow, 5:30 to 7. The link's on my profile, and go for that. I'm also giving you a link on the chat right now to Growth Academy, where Lisa and I both belong to. We have our own mentor there, Shanae Moray, another powerful lady who's moved from 0 followers to 850,000 followers today in just a little bit over 2 years. But tak sampai 30 months, she's grown her followership that much. And Lisa is about to explode on LinkedIn. I have quadrupled my followers on LinkedIn just following her simple advice. So please do check out Growth Academy. I've just given you the link there. With that, again, thank you so much, Sue. Thank you,
My
Lisa, for
pleasure.
joining us.
Thank you.
Please
Thank
do come
you.
again, both of you. Thank you.
Inshallah. Yeah.
Bye-bye. Goodbye,
Thank
everyone,
you.
tuning in.
Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. The questions that we didn't manage to answer online, it's always going to be in the chat, Sue. So if you can go back and, check out the comments there, maybe you can address it in the chat as well. So ladies and
Inshallah.
gentlemen, as always, take care of yourselves, be safe, and as always, stay kind. Goodbye, good night. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Assalam.